Well, it is getting much worse. A report just came out from the National Priorities Project saying that there will be $1 trillion in tax benefits in 2013, mostly going to the wealthy. That could be, if they're so concerned about the deficit, you could be collecting a large portion of that money and applying it to the deficit. The deficit is $640 billion. They're talking about $1 trillion in the tax benefits in this year alone. The Congressional Budget Office says 10 major tax breaks totaling more than $750 billion in tax savings will take place in 2013, and which obviously heavily favor the top income earners. 127 billion of it is going to the top 1%. But listen to this one. Among the upper 1%, there are 1.2 million people in the upper 1% who will pay no taxes this year. None. That's absurd.
That is absolutely unbelievable. But again, as we've talked about, that's not an accident. That is the result of their, $1 million lobbyists, their $1 million PR scams, these super PACs that they create. This is the result. This is the post-Citizens United America. And with this upcoming McCutcheon case before the Supreme Court, we could be looking at a country where the bottom 99% don't have a say at all. I mean, arguably they don't have a say now, but things are likely to get a lot worse before they get better. And later on in the show, we're going to be talking about this populist uprising that appears to be happening. It toppled Larry Summers. It toppled this whole Syrian war that we almost started. Real quick, do you think that the situation will get worse before it gets better, or do you think there's a movement to make things right now?
Well, the situation is going to get worse before it gets better, because right now there's a lot of money being spent to perpetuate the lie that we have an emergency deficit situation that has to be controlled by cutting benefits, cutting entitlements. And this entire thing is not happening by chance. It's a massively funded PR campaign. It's designed to convince people of these lies. An outfit called Fix the Debt is spending $60 million to create the deficit emergency situation lie in order to get government cut. A Wall Street billionaire named Pete Peterson spending $1 billion to convince people that there's a big deficit emergency and we need to cut the size of government. And so it's going to get worse. And frankly, Farron, the only thing that's going to stop it will be, I think, the what happened in the last election. When you've got Karl Rove, you've got $750 million, or you got $400 million. The only thing that's going to stop it, Farron, is going to be what happened in the last election. You're going to have the public stand up and vote against the people like the Koch brothers who put $250 million into the last election, the Sunlight Foundation, who's 1% of the top 1%, who funded a large portion of the election, Karl Rove and his group. That whole group together put $500 million into the election, and as a result of the public's perception of what they were doing, they elected virtually no one. They lost almost all their money. They lost almost all their investment, and that's what's going to have to happen. It's going to have to be the public standing up and recognizing who's being supported by these big billionaires who are trying to buy elections and voting against them. That's going to have to happen, because it's for sure the Congress that they're supporting with their big contributions is going to do nothing about it.